Welcome dear students to my sixth lecture of Principles of Electronic Communication. Today we are going to see data transmission. Very firstly we will see its types. As per data transmission is concerned, these two words especially used for digital data transmission and not analog data transmission. So throughout this lecture, whatever the data we are assuming, assume it as an digital information, digital data. And as word used is modes, means it has different types. So data transmission has two major types. First one is parallel transmission and second one is serial transmission. Moving towards serial transmission, again it has two more types. First one is synchronous serial transmission and second one is asynchronous serial transmission. So we will see one by one modes of data transmission. As per parallel transmission is concerned, it is with reference to the bits. Those are transmitted simultaneously on separate wires. Now, one thing you should know that 1 byte information is equal to 8 bits. 8 bits. So, when we are going to transmit 1 byte means we are going to transmit 8 bits simultaneously on separate wires. The meaning is that each bit should be transmitted using one wire. So such 8 wires required to transmit 8 bits. So this is the meaning of first statement, that 8 parallel separate wires needed to transmit 8 different bits. If we have more than 8 bits, then accordingly number of wires required to transmit those bits. Now second is that parallel transmission requires multiple wires for interconnecting two devices. Now in this picture you can see this is printer and this is CPU, monitor, anything you can say, or this is one device, this is second device, and when we are connecting these two devices and try to send data among both the devices, then we need multiple wires. This is the meaning of second statement. Third is, it is possible only if two devices are close to each other. Parallel transmission is possible when these two devices are close to each other, means the distance between these two devices should be less. Standard is 3 feet to the 5 feet of the distance is ideal to establish a communication in parallel mode. But if distance be beyond 5 feet, then it is better to use serial transmission. As per application is concerned, application of the parallel transmission is communication between printer and CPU. So there is a very well known printer, parallel printers are there. Those use Synchronous port, can be connected to the CPU, and central processing unit can send digital data parallelly to the printer, and then printer is going to print that particular information. So this is one type of the parallel transmission. Using this block diagram you can clarify your concept about the parallel transmission. If this is a transmitter and this is a receiver, both are connected using 8 different lines. 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 8 lines are there, and this sender is transmitting 8 different bits over these wires. Which are those bits? 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1 and 0. So these 8 bits transmitted simultaneously to the receiver side. So this is example number 1, where we can transmit 8 different bits or 1 byte from sender to receiver or transmitter to the receiver. There is one more example which clarifies your concept much more, where bit number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, these 8 bits are going to be transmitted over wires, 8 different wires, and both transmitter and receiver uses clock signal, means they are operating at same clock. This is a clock signal. For simplicity, you just forget about this clock. This is for synchronization purpose, nothing else. But as per these 8 lines are concerned, this line is transmitting potential 0 or 0 voltage. This line is propagating bit 1. This line is propagating bit 0, 0, bit 0, bit 0, and this is bit 1. Means square waveform is representing some voltage, that's why this is bit 1. This is also representing bit 1. Means binary 0 is transmitted when no waveform is there, and binary 1 is transmitted when waveform is present. So this here 0, here also 0, 0, 0, 1 and 1. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. This information is transmitted from this transmitter to the receiver simultaneously using 8 wires. This is the meaning of parallel transmission. So I hope it clears your concept about parallel transmission. As per serial transmission is concerned, in serial transmission, instead of simultaneous transmission, transmission is there but one by one. Hence, in serial transmission, bits are serially, not parallelly, serially transmitted, and that's why it is one by one. Here, byte to be transmitted first stored in shift register. Now, the meaning of this statement is that one shift register is there. You are going to study this shift register in digital electronics. The structure of shift register is like this. It has 8 bits of memory location where data can store in terms of binaries 1011. This is for example I am taking. The last bit is called as LSB bit, and the first bit it is called as an MSB bit. These are the abbreviations. So before transmission of the digital data, that data is saved into the shift register. It is saved into shift register. And then what happened? We are transmitting LSB bit first, that is a least significant bit first, over a cable. Then we transmit 1 which is just next to the LSB. Then we transmit 0 which is just next to the LSB. Then we transmit this one. Then we transmit this one. Then we transmit this one. Then we transmit this 0. And lastly, MSB is going to be transmitted over this cable. So the meaning of second statement is like this, that we store our 8 bits into shift register like LSB to MSB, and we transmit bits which starting from LSB to the MSB. This is the meaning of second statement. As per third statement is LSB is transmitted first. Whatever I have explained right now, this is quoted in third statement, that LSB is transmitted first and MSB is the last bit getting transmitted. So this is the last bit. After this bit, MSB is going to be propagated through a wire. Fourth point is, as only one bit is going to be transmitted per clock cycle, 8 serial transmission takes 8 clock cycles to transmit complete byte or 8 bits. The meaning of this statement is that separate clock is required to transmit each and every bit. Means this clock period is required to transmit LSB. This clock period is required to transmit this bit. This is LSB bit. One more clock is required to transmit this bit. So such way, 8th clock cycle is required to transmit MSB bit. So this way, 8 clock cycles are required. Now in parallel communication, here you can see only one clock cycle is there. Using one clock cycle, 8 bits can transmit. So this is quite faster. Parallel transmission is quite faster than serial transmission. Here it can clear up the concept. This is shift register. It is having data 00101111, where this bit is least significant bit, this bit is most significant bit, and before transmission we have saved this data into this shift register. Now it is propagating the information like this one is transmitted, then this one is transmitted, then this one is transmitted, likewise lastly then 0 is going to be transmitted. So this is the serial bit transmission using example number 1. This is second example. This is a pictorial representation. One broadcast station is shown over here and it is broadcasting some digital information, and one digital receiver is receiving that information. It might be any digital receiver, it can be mobile or it can be computer node. Here we are transmitting 0, then 1. So this is LSB and this is MSB. Most significant bit is this one and this is least significant bit. This is 1 is transmitted, then this 0 is transmitted, then this 0 is transmitted, then this 0 is transmitted, 1 is transmitted, and lastly MSB is going to be transmitted. So this way our transmitter is transmitting information from the using the wire. So here one thing is pretty much important, that our transmitter is transmitting all the information using only one wire and not the multiple wires. So this is a major difference between serial and parallel. This is one more example that if these two persons are communicating with each other using only one cable, then this information can be transmitted serially. So this is serial transmission through one cable. Similarly, there is a communication between one laptop and one add-on card. This add-on card is having universal serial bus which is connected through wire to universal serial bus of laptop. This add-on card might be of any type, sound card, graphics card, or analog to digital converter, any add-on card it is. But the communication between laptop and add-on card is serial one. Hence the data propagation is serial. So I hope that you have understood the concept of bit transmission using serial type and parallel type. This is a good example of transmission where you can easily verify that your information is transmitted serially over one cable, and here our information is transmitted using multiple wires. So here at a time 4 bits are going to be transmitted, and here only one bit is going to be transmitted or received, bidirectional. That's why arrow at both sides is been shown. Now up till now we have seen data transmission using parallel transmission and using serial transmission. Now in more detail we will see types of serial transmission, that is synchronous, serial transmission and asynchronous serial transmission. In asynchronous data transmission, that is serial transmission. Now we better way we use data transmission word instead of serial transmission. Very first statement is transmitter and receiver operate at different clock frequencies. Asynchronous. This is asynchronous. Asynchronous means different clock frequencies. Both transmitter and receivers operate at different clock frequencies. As per second statement is concerned, transmitter can transmit data bytes at any instant of time. Means there is no fixed slot is given to the transmitter that at this particular time transmitter can transmit something. But when data is ready at transmitter end, it can transmit. That's why it is written over in the second statement that it can transmit at any instant of time. Next is only one byte is sent at a time. Means only 8 bits can be sent at a time. Once 8 bit is going to be sent, then next 8 bits are can be taken for sending at transmitter end. Next is after sending one byte, another byte can be sent after some time delay. So after sending these 8 bits after some time, so there is a time delay in between two consecutive 8 bits or 1 byte. Next is start and stop bits are used along with each data byte. The meaning is that our information is transmitting, but in addition to our information bits, we are padding or we are adding start bit and stop bit to our information so that in the receiving end, our receiver can decode that particular information using start bit and stop bit. And more specifically, start bit is 0 and more specifically stop bit is always 1. So you should keep in your mind that while adding start bit and stop bit to our bytes, we prefer to add 0 in starting position and we prefer 1 in ending position. Meanwhile, idle time between transmitter and receiver is also not constant, because if transmitter don't have any information to send, then both become idle. So in that case it is quite uh, uncertain to predict about the idle times. Hence idle time between transmitter and receiver is not constant. Now this is asynchronous data transmission, where you can see that this is a transmitter and this is a receiver. Our main information is this one, 0 D0 to D7, 8 bit information we are transmitting, and in addition to that one start bit, that is 0, and one stop bit, that is 1, is going to be transmitted. In digital you can refer to the falling edge, refer to the falling edge. When age is falling, you can treat it as an 0, and when age is 1 or rising, you can say rising, then it is binary 1. So this is falling age, that's why this is 0, and this is rising age, that's why this is 1. Now here one clock is shown over here. Similar to that, one clock is also added over here, but both the clocks are different. So this, if this clock is 1, then this clock is 2. There is no common specification for these clocks. They are operating at two different frequencies. They are not operating at same frequency. That's why this is asynchronous. Now, what do you mean by asynchronous? As I have already commented on that, both transmitter and receiver do not have same clocks. That's why they are asynchronous or they are not synchronized. they don't have same clock means they are not synchronized. That's why they are asynchronous. Second is, but receiver should be synchronized with the incoming bit stream. Suppose at receiving side one block is coming. If this is a block which is coming towards the receiver, at that time our receiver should be synchronized to this block, because when it is arriving towards the receiver should know that this starting bit is coming. So when that starting bit is identified at the receiving end, it means the synchronization is been done. So though it is asynchronous because of the different clocks operating at transmitter and receiver, but receiver is synchronous to the received information. This is the meaning of second statement. As per third statement is concerned, synchronization is required for 1 byte duration. So when receiver comes to know that information has arrived, so receiver is continuously synchronized with the received information signal up to the end of the information. So when information ends, then receiver stops its synchronization. So you can say that this is 1 byte of the information. That's why 1 byte of the duration receiver is in synchronous state. What are the disadvantages of asynchronous transmission? Very first disadvantage is that as we are adding start bits and stop bits, those are additional bits. Hence, memory loss, or you can say much more memory is utilized. More memory is required in asynchronous transmission. Second is, as it is uncertain about the arrival of that particular information, sampling instant, it is difficult to determine the sampling instants, as receiver is not aware about the transmission instant. That's why the sampling is quite difficult to determine. This is the meaning of second statement. And because of this, the timing error occurs. Because of this, timing error occurs. As per third statement is concerned, start and stop bits and the idle time makes asynchronous slow. Because of the start time, stop time, and the idle time, the transmission, serial transmission is becomes slow. It is not fast. Now, what are the advantages of asynchronous transmission? Very first advantage is that synchronization is not required between transmitter and receiver. This is very first, because a separate circuitry is not required to make synchronization between transmitter and the receiver. Second is that it is possible to transmit signals from different sources having different bit rates. For example, these are the three different sources and they are generating some binary information at different frequencies. If the frequency of first is 1, if the frequency of second is 3, and frequency of third is 5. So if these three are operating at three different frequencies, means their data rate is different. But in the receiving side, it is possibility that receiver can decode the information of 1 also, 3 also, and 5 also. So though transmitter operating at three different bit rates, receiver can decode their information. This is the meaning of asynchronous transmission. Third one is, if data is available, transmission is possible. If data is available with 1, then it can transmit. If data is available with 3, then it can transmit. If data is available with 5, then it can transmit. So this is the meaning of third statement. If no data is available, there is no traffic or data over the channel or over the wire. As per asynchronous is concerned, it is quite easy to implement. Also, it is less costly and it is effective scheme. So these are the advantages of asynchronous transmission. Now last is synchronous transmission. In synchronous transmission, as the name indicates, both transmitter and receiver having same clock frequency, or they are using one master clock, and that master clock is utilized in transmitter end also and receiver end also. Here bits which are transmitted are synchronized to the reference clock. Whatever the bits we are transmitting, 1010, those bits are synchronized with the reference clock or master clock. As synchronization is there, there is no need of any start bit or stop bit. Also, bytes are transmitted as a block in continuous stream. For example, 8 bit of the information is stored in this block. Again, one more 8 bit of the information is stored in this another block. So such kind of the blocks are there. Continuous block stream utilized to transmit the signal over the cable. Next is receiver operates at same clock frequency as that of transmitter. This statement is quite similar to the first statement, that master clock is there, means receiver and transmitter operate at same clock frequency. Next is frames used for error-free transmission. So such kind of the frames or blocks, it is also called as block, it is also called as frame. So such kind of the frames utilized for error-free transmission. So this is reliable information transmission. Also, one thing is very important, that there is no gap between two frames. So there is no gap in between these two frames. They are continuously propagating the information. This is synchronous transmission. This is transmitter and this is receiver. Direction of flow is shown, and these are the frames of comprising of 8 bits of the information without any gap. 8 bits of the information without any gap. This information is propagating over the channel having only one wire, and it is received at a receiver side. Now, what are the advantages of the synchronous transmission? The very first advantage is speed. It is having much higher speed as compared to the asynchronous. Also, start bits and stop bits are absent. Here, idle time are absent. So, second statement is highlighting that about start bits and stop bits. Third is timing errors. Reducing. We are reducing the timing errors because of the synchronization. There is no issue of the synchronization. So, here you can see in the picture that if this person is writing a mail to this person, so this person is writing a mail at particular time, and that mail is firstly saved into a server, proxy server, and then it is going to be saved into the inbox of this person. That's why when he is writing, he cannot read. When he is sending it, it goes into the outbox of this person, it goes into the server first, and then that server is putting that mail into the inbox of this person, and then he can read. Okay, so this way, this is called as an asynchronous communication, because when this he is typing, he cannot read. That's why this is asynchronous. But in the second case, you can see this is a phone, both the persons are talking on a phone with each other, so they are in a real time mode, they are talking with each other, hence their frequency is same, their clock is same. That's why when this person is talking, at the same time this person is listening, and when this person is talking, this person is listening. So this is very good example of synchronous communication. This is the last topic of this lecture: comparison between asynchronous serial communication and synchronous serial communication. Using these parameters, synchronization, start and stop bits, or gaps, or you can say speed and application. So as per synchronization is concerned, in asynchronous there is no need of synchronization, but in synchronous it is needed. As per start and stop bits are concerned, those used in asynchronous but not used in asynchronous. As per gaps between the data blocks is concerned, gap is present in asynchronous and gap is absent in synchronous. As per speed is concerned, speed is low in asynchronous, data transmission speed is low, and here data transmission speed is high in synchronous. In which application asynchronous is utilized? Computer connected to the keyboard, because when key is going to be pressed, at that time it can be reflected on the monitor, but when key is not been pressed, at that time our CPU is in the falling mode, it is waiting for key press event. That's why both both keyboard and CPU, they are not synchronous, but CPU is waiting for key press event, that's why it is asynchronous. So this is first application. Second application is email, as we have already seen, between the two person. And third one is short messaging services, SMS. You pretty much know about this SMS. So these are the applications of asynchronous communication. As per synchronous communication, telephone, mobile phones, and computer to computer communication comes under the synchronous serial communication. So this is a comparison between asynchronous and synchronous. So I hope you have enjoyed this session. In a next session, we will see spectrum of frequencies. I hope you have understood about the concept of time frequency. If you already cleared about time and frequency, then it is quite easy to understand the spectrum. So in the next session, we will see frequency spectrum utilized in electronic communication systems. Till then, thank you.